Hey lovelies, thanks for stopping by to watch another one of my health issues on my channel. I've really appreciated the feedback that I've got so far from everyone, and I'm glad that my videos are actually touching people's hearts and that you're actually taking something away from it. Tonight, as you can tell from the title, I'm actually going to talk about something a wee bit different tonight. I've talked constantly for the past few weeks just about fibromyalgia, which is something that is very, very important in my life and something that I do suffer from. I know that not a lot of people suffer from it as well, but I do want to let you know that it's not the only thing that actually comes along with my ailments and everything, and it's not that I'm saying woe is me or, you know, I have it so rough, because I do know that other people have it much worse than me. But I wanted to let you know, because I do understand that there's a lot of people like me that fibromyalgia isn't the only thing that you suffer from, and it gets a wee bit ridiculous because sometimes you don't know which is actually causing you to have a bad day, or you know what's causing the pain, or why things are happening and whatever. So what I'll do, I'll just start from the beginning. Whenever I turned 18, I think I may have talked about this previously, but whenever I turned 18, I went from being very slim to very, very big, and it took a whole year for the doctors to find out that I actually had an underactive thyroid, and I've actually suffered with that for 11 years now, and it's been a long, hard slog because I really struggle with losing weight, and it's one of those things where it's almost like I have to work twice as hard to lose weight compared to other people who don't have an underactive thyroid. And yes, I'm medicated, and people think that that just makes it okay. But what happens is there's days where you'll get run down and your medication won't fix it properly, so you're still having to work that wee bit extra to make your body work that wee bit more. But I have gone through periods where I've been down to maybe 10.5 stone and right up to 16.5 stone, and I'm sitting at just under 13 stone right now. This time last year, I was probably just over 15.5 stone. So I have lost a good bit of weight, and I am still losing slowly but surely, and I'm happy with that because I'm losing it in a way that it isn't dramatic all at once, which I've done before, because you do end up just piling it all on again. So that was the first thing that was a massive, massive difference in my life with my health and everything. Whenever, you know, I was sort of in my late teens, I had my eczema already, and as much as I did suffer from that throughout my GCSEs and everything, I can remember nights whenever I was studying for my GCSEs, I would be sitting with towels or face cloths in ice buckets, and I would be soaking my whole body with them just to get some relief from the pain, the itchiness, and the sores and everything, and my clothes would stick to me, and it was absolutely horrendous. My sister also suffered with it throughout her teenage years into her early 20s. We still suffer from it. I don't think hers is to the degree that it was maybe in her early 20s. Whenever she was in her early 20s like me, she really suffered with it around her eyes. I spent most of my early 20s with what to me looked like I had panda eyes. I couldn't wear eyeshadow because as soon as I put anything on my eyelids, they just dried up and then cracked and then started weeping, and my eyelids would stick together, and it was just horrible. I couldn't really wear makeup because everything that touched my skin was just so severe on it. Even sensitive things I just could not put anywhere near my skin. I still suffer from allergies to certain things on my hands, or more intolerances that I would call them, rather than allergies. I can't use certain fabric softeners. I can't use anything other than Fairy to wash dishes, and even at that I generally just have gloves on, because as soon as my hands touch anything, they sort of erupt into horrible sores. I don't think you're going to really see the effect of them right now. Now, they are in the process of getting better. I'm not able to wear my wedding and engagement ring at the minute because it has flared up a wee bit on my hands, and it tends to do that more as well whenever I'm stressed out about things, and at this moment there is a lot going on in my life, personally, away from this channel, away from anything to do with my health, but there is stuff going on that has me incredibly stressed out. So different things will flare up, especially the eczema. So from the eczema and the underactive thyroid, I also have polycystic ovaries. I don't take the pill or anything to treat that anymore. I did for a while, but I started getting migraines because of it. Sorry, my jaw's starting to click here. That's actually a symptom that I've only just started recently suffering with. Let me know in the comments below if it's something that actually affects you as a clicky jaw. Then I actually went through a really bad period. I think I was 22 at the time. I started getting what felt like really, really intense migraines. I couldn't lift my head up. I couldn't move properly. Whenever I lifted my head, it was just swimming, and the throbbing got to the point where it actually did feel like my brain was going to explode out of my head. And I went up to the hospital and I was admitted immediately because the doctors had thought I'd had a stroke. And they did a lumbar puncture on me, and they did find a small amount of blood in the sample that was taken away. But they were happy enough that there was no brain damage there. But what they've said was, rather than me actually having a stroke, my body mimicked a stroke, and they do think there was a certain amount of trauma there to my brain at that point. But it was nothing that would have lasting damage. But at that point I was told that I needed to learn how to work through my stress levels. I think I'm one of those people that stress gets to me. I don't mentally think I'm stressed out, but it kind of comes out in illnesses throughout my body, which, as anybody who has fibromyalgia would know, that it is something that flares up whenever you are stressed out. I also ended up, around 4 years ago, I ended up with ulcers that went from being 2 to it was 9 ulcers in the end. I had gastritis, I had Helicobacter pylori, which was basically a germ in my body that grew. They say that you've got it in you from you're born. Some people never have any issues with it. Unfortunately, I was one of the unlucky ones that actually did. I know a couple of other people in my family who have been affected with their Helicobacter pylori and have IBS and stuff. I don't class myself as having IBS, but I do suffer with ulcers, and I do take stuff every single day for that. At the moment I can tell that one of my ulcers has come back, and it's on the left hand side, and I can feel it. It isn't always painful, but I can just tell that that part of my stomach is there. Which, I mean, I'm sure if you think about it, you can't actually feel your stomach inside you. You know it's there, but you can't feel it. Whereas I can actually feel it. You know, I can sense. I have a sensation, is probably a better way to put it, in my stomach at any given point. And if I drink cold stuff, I can feel it down then through my body short time after. So it's things like that that, I mean, I knew back then even that it was going to have to be ulcers that I had because of the way it was affecting me. And they did go away. I think it took about 6 months for them to go away, and I do take medication every single day to combat that, especially with the pain medication and stuff that I would be on now. So going on from that, obviously I have fibromyalgia, but I was also diagnosed around the same time with CFS, which some people call it CFS, some people call it ME. I don't say that I have ME because when the doctor diagnosed me, he said I have CFS. So for me, I don't say ME, I say I have chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. I also have nerve damage in my not my right shoulder, in my right, can nearly speak, in the right hand side of my neck, and it causes pain right down into my right shoulder. I'm saying right an awful lot. I'm actually due for my second nerve blocker in a couple of weeks. So guys, I'm not going to go on and blah 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 and give you a whole list of every single thing that affects my life, but it's just to give you a wee bit of information that you're not alone in that even though you have fibromyalgia, there is other stuff that affects you and other stuff that causes you pain and discomfort and illnesses and whatever. And the reason I want to tell you this is whenever you're going to the doctors for different things, and if you feel sick or if you feel like there's something wrong with you, don't let yourself believe that it's just your fibromyalgia, or it's just your lupus, or it's just your ME, or it's just whatever. Just because you already have a diagnosed illness doesn't mean to say that every single thing that happens in your life is due to that. If you feel sick, if you feel like you've got something wrong with you, go to the doctors and talk to them. And if you believe that it's not to do with your fibromyalgia, or as I said, whatever you suffer with, make sure that they check you out. Because I do know some people who have been to the doctors and tried to talk to their doctors about things and they've just gone, oh, that's just another symptom. It may well be, but sometimes that's not what it is. And sometimes I was reading up on stuff a few days ago. In fact, it was just before last week's episode that I changed up a wee bit. And one of the things that I was reading up is that we are the worst patients sometimes because we don't go straight away with things that are wrong with us, because we just assume that it is part of our fibromyalgia. So what I'm trying to say is, if you know how your body works now and things that affect you and your pain levels and things like that, when something comes up that you don't know, you should go and see your doctor about it. In fact, one of the things that I really find that is good is to keep a pain diary, a sleep diary, a fatigue diary, an eating diary. Obviously it's all the one diary, but you know what I'm trying to say. I keep notes of things like that, you know, how I sleep at night, what my pain levels are like before I go to bed, did I wake up during the night, what my pain levels were like then. Even things like how much you would pee during the night, or how much you would pee or have bowel movements during the day, especially if you haven't drank that much, if you're having excessive amounts of going to the toilet. There's different things that you will notice that will change, and if you keep track of things, if you keep track of your body and things that change, then you will notice if something comes up that isn't quite down to what your normal illnesses is. So guys, one of the reasons I'm saying this is because someone that I do know had an illness recently and felt something else coming along and wasn't sure whether it was something else other than the illness that they had at that time, and they nearly didn't go to the doctors, but their family talked them into it, and they went to the doctors and they found out that they actually had cancer. And the family obviously hope that they've caught it in time, because it was quite quick that they noticed the symptoms come through and everything, so they're hoping that they've caught it in time. But sometimes people ignore things that are happening with their body, and they don't go and find out what it is straight away. And I'm not saying that, you know, if you have something wrong with you that it's cancer. What I'm saying is we always need to be on the safe side, because if you're getting more headaches than you used to have, there could be something else going wrong. If you have fibromyalgia, it could be that you end up with MS or something like that, you know. And one of the other things is, whenever you go to the doctors, make sure that you're telling them every single symptom that you've been having. Make sure that you write down a list. I always have to write lists, because I'll go and I'll forget things that I want to say, and there'll be times that I'm sitting looking at the doctor and I'll go, hang on, I'm going to just hand you this list, because sometimes I end up getting emotional whenever I'm talking, because it does get to you. Whenever I find that one of the times that I get most emotional about the stuff that's going on in my life is when I have to say it out loud, that what's happening, what's wrong with me, because it kind of hits me a wee bit more than what actually is happening. So anyway, it hasn't been as short a video as I'd want it to be, but I hope it's given you some information, and like my other videos, I really hope that it has helped you a wee bit. And just remember guys, I'm going to say this again just one more time before I sign off. Just because you have a chronic illness doesn't mean to say that every time you get sick or have a pain or something goes wrong with you, that it's down to that chronic illness that you already have. So make sure that you chart down everything that happens to you throughout the day, throughout the night, and keep track of your body, so that whenever something does happen that's not down to that, you'll have an idea. And make sure if you go to the doctors and you're trying to get them to look at that problem, that you make sure that you get through to them that you don't believe that it's down to the chronic illness that you already have, that you believe that it's something more. And they will help you then, because they'll have to look into it for you, because you're telling them that it's not down to the illness that you already have. And if you don't have a supportive doctor, do what you can to try and find a doctor that is supportive. But that's a story I want to do for another week. So anyway, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to go to bed. I have a long day tomorrow. I have to go for a meeting with the benefits office to see how they can get me back into work. Such a joy. But there's another story for another day. So guys, I will see you all next week for my next edition. And I hope you have a pain-free week and you sleep so well and wake up feeling refreshed every day. Love you all. Mwah. Bye.